Hey guys, Neil here. Just thought I'd do a tutorial on the various software options that are available to you in software DMX control and the features that are important to consider when looking for a software DMX solution. Think of your research much like the idea behind the various audio software available to DJs. For instance, Mixmeister, Serato, or Virtual DJ. Each of those have a different set of features. Some are completely different from others, while others are similar. So you will want to check to see what are the features that really work for you, because not all software is well suited for certain applications. So I just wanted to, before I begin getting into the features, remind everybody that the nice thing with software is that you can download almost all of the software solutions that I'll be listing free of charge before you buy their unit. That allows you to actually check out what features work for you and what aren't that important to you. So what I would suggest is downloading some of the cheaper options such as Freestyler, but also downloading things like Martin Light Jockey just so that you can see what the extreme end solutions, the really expensive options, have available to you. That way you'll get a good idea of what's available and what's suited for you and what's overkill for you. So here comes the features. Make sure that it's easy to learn, but don't get caught in thinking that because it's easy, it's good. Some easy to learn solutions are easy because they lack the features that the more comprehensive softwares have. So make sure that you're not so focused on easy to learn that you're actually losing out on features that you should be looking at. Another really important one is the 3D visualizer. The nice thing with software solutions is that, like behind me, I've got my lights running without any lights connected. The nice thing with that is I don't even have to set up my lights and actually run them through my software. I can just use my 3D visualizer for almost all of my lights and program them just so that when I get to the venue, when I hook them up together, they'll respond exactly as I see on screen. Some 3D visualizers are easier than others, so make sure that the 3D visualizer is acceptable to you. Live speed adjustment. Now this is a really important one. A lot of the softwares out there, or many of them, may not actually have the ability to adjust the speed in a live scenario. What I mean by that is when you program a sequence, you tell it to wait 1 second or half a second before moving to the next. In more advanced software, you're able to actually set it to sound. So each sequence will actually change on the beat, or by tapping your mouse to the beat. Another one still is the manual slider. You can adjust it 150%, 100%, 50%, 90%, etc. So those are the features around speed adjustment. Very useful when you want the lights to be on the beat, and most people do. Transparent cues. Transparent cues are really important or really neat features. When you think of a light program, you tend to think about just all of the features put together. You know, the scanner starts off here and goes down here and then travels over here and comes back here, and the gobo changes at this point and changes at this point, and the color changes here, so forth. Transparent cues allow you to actually adjust each individual element of that program. So you may have 4 programs running all of those elements. So you may have one program running movement, another program running the gobos, another program yet running color, yet another one operating the strobe feature. So that way, if I can have two of those programs running together that change the the gobo with the movement at different times. So I could have the color changing to the beat, but the motion remaining constant. Adjustments of boundaries. If you're working in a gym, a huge gym for a school dance, you may want your scanners to be traveling really wide across the gym in that scenario. But in a small venue, you probably want those programs a little different, so it's not traveling as wide. When you're using LEDs or a wash style of fixture, it's really nice to know what colors you're going to be creating on the computer, especially if you're using the 3D visualizer. Timelines. Timelines allow you to sync music and video to the light show so that you can create a light show that is specifically for a music or video presentation, for instance. I use mine for suicide prevention presentations, where I actually have the lighting perfectly synced to beats in the music, to what's going on the screen. So it works really well, but it might not be a feature that is required for you. I don't know. Triggers. What kind of triggers does that software allow you to use to trigger a light scene? Almost all of them, I'd say all of them that I've ever seen, allow you to use the keyboard. If you hit A, it turns on this particular light scene. If you hit S, it turns on strobes. But does it also include time? Can you set it at certain times to actually run? Does it accept MIDI commands so that you can set up an external MIDI software to control it or not? Keyboard grouping. If it doesn't have keyboard grouping, then you're going to have to change each and every fixture on its own. Whereas sometimes it's a lot faster to select all the scanners by hitting, say, S for scanners, and you can then adjust all of the scanners at the same time. Input options. Does your software or hardware allow you to input a hardware controller as well? Because if it does that, then you can start routing certain channels to certain channels on the hardware controller. So I may have certain channels that control my wash that I've routed to specific say 1, 2, and 3 faders on my hardware controller. And if I want to override it during the light show, I just use the hardware controller and it overrides those particular channels. It really is a powerful feature. Standalone mode. Does it have the ability for you to load the actual light program into the hardware controller? If it does, then you have the ability to take your hardware controller only and leave your computer at home or running the music only. Even more so, advanced hardware, certain pieces of hardware will actually have buttons for you to press. So you can load up to, say, 14 different programs, and it's just like you have a switch, but it's actually running a whole program for you that you can always change. Auto generators. Does the software allow you to quickly create a scene that will, or a program that will change all of the gobos at certain times, instead of having to go through tedious work of changing the gobo at every step? Generators will actually do that for you. So those are the key options that I've found to be worth mentioning. I'm sure I've missed a few. Feel free to comment if you like, but those are the key ones that I came up with. Now I'm just going to show the various software options for you. Feel free to go through, as I said in the beginning, and download whatever one strikes you as being a potential one for you, and see if that has the features that you're looking for. Make sure you try 2 or 3 at least before settling on one, before you buy the actual dongle. because that way you're going to learn all of the features, or a lot more than if you just go out and purchase your very first one.